When you approach the vehicle with the key, it does have the full proximity key system, but when you walk up to the vehicle and you have the key in your hand, it never senses and turns anything on. There's no approach lights or any kind of safety lights whatsoever. Even interior lights are not on. But when you hit the unlock button on the key, it turns on some interior lights there. Also, the headlights, tail lights are now on, which is very good for safety. But also it has these puddle lights, or basically approach lights. Even though they don't extend from the vehicle very far, just right there where the actual doors are, it is nice to have some exterior lights here on the side as you approach the vehicle. When you hit the unlock button, it'll do this. It'll also unlock, if you unlock the actual handle, it'll do it as well. And you don't have to necessarily use the key, but it's nice to, from a distance, go ahead and turn on some exterior lights when you approach the vehicle. When I turn the headlight switch to the complete off position, I still have these very bright daytime running lights illuminated here in the front. So there's no tail lights, there's no side markers, there's no nothing. And now these are very bright. They could potentially be mistaken for headlights, but they are very bright white lights when the headlight switch is in the complete off position. So while we're at it, let's go ahead and turn the brightness down so you can see how sharp and fancy they are. Have like this pretty cool pattern. Now I have the parking lights on, and those same white lights are now quite a bit dimmer. And there's a really bright amber side marker now illuminated here on the side, in the front. So yeah, those are much less bright now. And there's the side marker in amber color. Tail lights are now on. Side marker there at the bottom, as well as the taillights kind of wrap around to the side of the vehicle as well. And they're red in color. Pretty bright too. Nice, sharp, crisp LED taillights. And bright tag light that illuminates the ground. Kind of serves as an approach light a little bit. Yeah, very impressive taillights. Turn signal indicator here in the front is amber in color. And it kind of has this little swoopy effect, which is pretty cool. Kind of swoops out, and very bright as well. There's also a turn signal indicator on the side mirror in amber color. It's visible from the front, the side, and the back. Not super bright, but it is there. And the tail light is, the turn signal in the tail light is a red, kind of swoopy, once again, LED light. And let me know what you think about that. The fact that it's red and not amber, also that it's kind of swoopy, that kind of helps out with getting people's attention. And it's pretty bright, but not as bright as the front actually. So there's those bright lights that when I turn the headlight switch to the off position, you can see it illuminates the ground in front of the vehicle. But let's go ahead and turn the headlights on right there. So that's the low beams. And I'm going to show you what it looks like going down the road as well. So the low beams are a projector auto leveling headlight system, an LED, and it's that outer projector there. The high beams are in the inner portion here. So let's see what it looks like here. I'm gonna step back a little bit, dip down, and Yeah, it's about 2 feet, 2.5 feet off the ground. Right there is where the cutoff is. All right, so there's the high beams. And the high beams are an additional light there on the inside. And it's the projector as well. And these are also auto leveling. So there's a full auto leveling system. Let me turn the brightness down. They're really bright. So that inner portion is now added to the outer portion for the low and the high beams. So as I step back here, it's going to be quite bright, even up high. And once again, we're going to see these going down the road as well. It has a fairly decent cargo lighting system here. Now there's 3 lights. One is under the hatch here, illuminating down below, like kind of over the shoulder. And then you have 2 LED, kind of a strip light here on the left and right. And they're fairly bright. Most of the light is in this area here. But you can see there's a little bit of shadowing going on here and here, which is kind of odd. But it does kind of, this over the shoulder light does kind of help out with that. So you can see there's a little bit of shadowing going on because I have stuff there. But as I cover up this light up here, you can see it kind of helps out a little bit, but you can see it's not perfect. It's mostly, the light mostly shines out here. So if it just kind of shined in there a little bit more, I think that would be a little bit better. But you know, it's decent as it is, I would say. At least they have a light on each side, which is nice. It's just kind of further back in there and kind of leaves your area here potentially dark, especially this compartment right here, or this little net pocket there is kind of dark. Same thing with this on this side. The inside of the back door, it does have a little bit of a puddle light there, all the way here at the bottom, shining on the ground, so you can see what you're stepping in. There's an accent light, 2 of them, 2 different colors there, looking nice. There's also a backlit illumination for the door, the power window, so you can find it. But oddly enough, there's a compartment here that's dark. You would think that they would have some of these ambient lights or some kind of accent lighting in there, or just some kind of lighting, but it's completely dark. But at least we do have a puddle light here in the back, and it looks pretty cool. So when I open up the doors, it's interesting because it only turns on certain lights. It doesn't turn on all the interior lights. So when I open up this door, you can see it just has a light here. And so it's right here. The other side is not illuminated. So it's a little frustrating sometimes with this vehicle with the lighting, because you know it has these funny, quirky characteristics that it's kind of hard to show the whole vehicle. So let me go ahead and turn on all the interior lights so you can see. See this right here, same deal. That's only this light here. So let me turn on all the interior lights, which this is not what you're going to see when you open the door though. So that way we can see what the interior lights are all about. And it does a good job when they actually turn on, which is what they're not doing. All right, so you can see there's one light on each side, illuminating the seats quite well. You have this armrest here, and it has this little cup holder, which is not illuminated, but you can see it with the lights on. There's climate controls that are backlit illuminated, but there is some charge ports and a 12-volt power supply that are dark. But yeah, pretty bright lights. I think that when you turn on the interior lights, it's definitely adequate. But when you open up the door, it's just like, well, it only gives you light right there at that one seat. So when I open up this door, it has this pretty cool badge that kind of shines on the ground. It's not really a puddle light per se. It doesn't really give you much visibility on the ground, but it looks cool. And there's a light there, another accent light in the sill plate. It's kind of like more on the side than here on the top. People usually associate sill plates here on the top, but it's in the threshold area, but it's just kind of aiming on the side of the vehicle. There's a little kind of faint light right in here. Illuminated button for opening up the power lift gate. We have another dark pocket here. I got a bunch of stuff in there, but it's dark. And then you have more accent lighting, backlit buttons here in the door. There is illumination in the floorboard, and the interior lights are provided by these lights here. And they do a decent job. And we will need some of these interior lights because there's some places in here that is just completely dark. It's weird because when you open up the door, only this one light turns on. So I guess it depends on what, and there's constant beeping a lot going on with this vehicle. It always has some kind of things that pop up and give you information, and they won't go away unless you clear them, or it takes forever for them to go away. Anyways, so right now I got this door up and only this one light's on. The back lights don't turn on when I open up this door, just this one light. But anyways, let me go ahead and shut the door because that's not going to work for what I'm going to show you. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the interior lights. So that way all the interior lights are on so you can see how bright they are. So let me go ahead and so you can see what it looks like here, sitting in the driver's seat. Now let's turn the interior lights off, so we can see what all the lighting looks like. So the backlit buttons here on the steering wheel, easy to read. The cruise control is that little stalk down there, is illuminated, which is pretty cool. Glad to see that. The gauges look fantastic. It's just basically a screen, similar to this one. Right now I have maps on both of them, which is neat. So to the left of the steering column, you can see the accent light there. This customizable, and then you have both have different colors, so you can see the difference. I have the purple on one down here and like a teal on the top, and they're customizable. So just want to show you the difference there. There's a light here on the side on the door. You can see it there on the passenger side on the bottom, kind of faint one, just like an accent light. And then there's floorboard illumination, which you can turn off if you want. And then there's a light here on the side, the purple one on both sides here, just kind of a line. This is kind of an odd light because it's kind of brighter, and I've turned the brightness down quite a bit because it gets super bright. Let me go ahead and over here next to the headlight switch, there's this little knob that you can pop out. Let me just kind of cycle through the brightness levels here so you can see there's maximum brightness, and then that's as low as it goes. And so that kind of light there in the middle kind of stands out from all the other lights. Just kind of an odd light that's always on there. Kind of stands out from all the accent lighting and everything. You'd think at least tie it in with the colors or something. And it's in this pocket that's, you know, it's a pretty bright light for the size of the pocket. It's a very small pocket, so not sure what that deal is with that, but it's pretty interesting. Alright, so we got the backlit climate controls, other buttons here. Here's the shifter. Now there's a pocket right here that's dark, you can't see it. There's also the cup holder here. I'm going to turn the interior lights on because this whole area is dark. So cup holders are here, dark. That's dark. All this is dark. Also, some point out that there's a little bit of light coming from this, kind of a little bit of kind of ambient light or background light to help out with this, but it's still dark. So the cup holders here. This center armrest is kind of interesting because you have to take whatever you have in the cup holders out in order to access this compartment, and then it is also dark. So it does have a backlit illuminated charge port there, and then this one has this little backlit illuminated button for turning on the heated or cooled cup holder there. But you know, that's there. So there is power there. I just don't know why they don't have any additional lighting. And then there's a charging pad here. Alright, let me turn the interior lights back off. Glove compartment. It does have a fairly bright light, actually. And it's a nice big glove compartment, so you'll need that. There's backlit buttons up here. And I'm glad that they actually illuminated the light to turn on the interior lights. A lot of vehicles don't have, they like skip over that one button that turns on the interior lights, and that's the only time you'll need that button is when it's dark. So not sure why they do that, but this one has it, which is great. The visors have mirrors with these little lights that turn on when you open them. They're pretty bright. Same thing on the passenger side. You see the lighting up there in the back seat as well, kind of color coordinating the colors with the front here. Let me go ahead and put it in reverse so you can see the camera system. It's not super bright. I actually have the camera quite turned up, the brightness. And I mean, it's pretty dark in this parking lot, and you can see the lines somewhat decently, but it could be a little bit brighter, I would say, the camera system. Or a lot of other camera systems are brighter, so but this is a good camera system. I like it. It's just, you know, you just got to be prepared for it not being quite as bright as other vehicles. If you want to change the light, these ambient lights, what they're doing is they're calling these lines and those surfaces, and that's how they separate the colors. So you don't go into settings, you go into vehicle, and then you go into light and visibility, interior lighting, and then you can have adjust the brightness here. You can also turn them off. And then there's different colors here that you can choose from. I actually have it on individual, so I can adjust each individual one. But I'm going to go through. This one's called Contour, Vision, Solar, Impulse, Maritime, Caribbean, and then you can put it at Drive Select, which will change it depending on the drive mode. And then Individual is what I had originally that I had set up, and there's a button here that you can press and set it up. So it says surfaces and lines, so you can see it shines on surfaces, or it's just an individual line here. We'll go to surfaces. So then we have brightness, colors, and footwell. So there's the colors. Now footwell is not the same color, but you just, in this particular setting, you can turn on or off the footwell lighting. So here's the different colors you could choose here. Quite a bit of different ones. So I'm just going to kind of randomly go through a few of them here. So this is surface lighting, so that's the one on that door there. Kind of go through some of the main colors. Alright, now let's go back to the lines, which is the ones here, and we'll go to, we have brightness, then we have colors. We'll choose colors, and it's the same colors basically. I'll just kind of cycle through some of them here. We have a cool white, we've got a soft white, pink, red, orange, different type of shades of orange there, some yellows, green, and we go into like an aqua and transition into the blues, and then we have the purples. So I'm going to put it back on one of these teal colors here just to kind of separate it. So yeah, there's the different lighting options there, interior lighting. Now if you're wondering about the exterior lighting, automatic headlights, you can turn those on or off. And then you have entry exit lighting, daytime running lights, which you can turn on and off here. The automatic headlights, it has activation time, early, medium, or late. And then you have the high beam assist, which is basically the automatic high beams, which is you just turn the feature off if you don't want to use it. So there's the pattern on the wall. It's basically a straight line, except for there is a little bit of a dip there, like a little notch, and that will line up on the oncoming lane as you're driving. You can hopefully see the cornering lights illuminating here and there as I turn the steering wheel. Let's go ahead and go into a dark area so you can see those cornering lights a little bit. Go there. I'm going to turn to the left, and you can see it kind of illuminates that area there. It does help out. I like cornering lights when they're this good. I prefer cornering lights than to, say, active bending. These are auto leveling headlights, which are really good. But so I'm glad they don't move around when you turn the steering wheel left and right. They just have those cornering lights. So I have the automatic high beams on. They don't really work super great, but we'll leave them on for right now and see what happens. So yeah, we already got the high beams on already in this area, and it's looking pretty good. So there's the low beams, and you'll notice a little bit of like a lower, as we're driving on the actual road, you can see a little bit lower portion of the low beams. You can see it's lower on the oncoming lane there. That's that notch. When we're up close, it's hard to tell, but when you're actually out on the open road, you'll see that more prominently on the road at a distance. So right now we got the low beams on, and you can see the cutoff there, and I think these are pretty dead on as far as their adjustment. It looks really good. It's like right there where it's not blinding people, but it gives you really good visibility. So yeah, I've been impressed with these headlights so far. Now the automatic high beam portion does stay dim quite a bit, because any light, here we go, somebody flashing at me, any light that it perceives as a headlight, like a reflector down the road, on the side of the road, or somebody's porch light, it perceives it as a headlight, and it stays dim a lot when I'm in the dark country area. So it's a little bit of an issue sometimes. But as far as blinding other people, as far as like flashing somebody and stuff like that, it's not been that much of an issue, and that's really where you have to look out for. So yeah, so you can see the low beams against this car in front of me. It basically barely goes above the tag, the brightest portion anyway. So we're not seeing like it shine on the back of their head or anything, which is a good sign. Staying out of the windshield or the window, staying on just the bumper area. Alright, so there's the high beams on a darker road, and yeah, that's looking pretty good. That's looking really good. Evenly distributed light on the ground. It goes all the way out to the trees. Good side visibility as well. See if we can get back to the high beam soon. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, you can see the trees in the distance. And so far the automatic high beams is working good in this area because there's no other lights to fool it. It's just completely dark. There's no reflectors or porch lights or anything. Okay, so yeah, we can see the trees in the distance. We can see on the side of the road fantastically. The light on the road doesn't fade out too close to the vehicle. It projects down the road quite a bit. So yeah, I think these are really good. These are good headlights. I'm impressed with them. It's definitely not the Volkswagen Tiguan headlights just slapped in this vehicle. It's definitely an upgraded system. Now those alternative to the fog lights, let's go ahead and turn those on. So they don't work with the high beams, so I'll leave them on, so when the low beams turn on, they should turn on. And basically those are just the cornering lights, so they just kind of turn on when they want to, when you're cornering or when you turn them on here. It's the same thing, it's the same light. So there we go. So we can see on the side of the vehicle much better with those on. So it gives us that closer inside view there when we have the low beams, when the low beams are on. And we had that button turned on. So yeah, those are pretty good. I like those.